This is The Healthy Healer, where true voice is your medicine. This is where we help doctors and other healers navigate through the challenging times by learning from the best minds in the healing industry. Laugh, cry, and be surprised. It's entertainment, education, and inspiration so you can continue to be the unique and amazing healer you were destined to be. Welcome to humanity. Welcome to The Healthy Healer with Dr. Fred.
Hello, and this is Dr. Fred, and I just want to let you know how really honored and pleased and really privileged I am to speak to my upcoming webinar. The webinar is all based on the passion in my life, which is helping people really find access to their truest voice, their core values, their innermost self, the part of them that have been often hidden or stifled or smothered or silenced or in some ways unexpressed. This has been a passion of mine for the last 5 years, as some of you already know. And that's why I wrote the book called Find Your True Voice, and also why I created the course called the True Voice Course. Over time, this has developed a little further. And now who I am is someone who has developed the Healing the Healer course. And the Healing the Healer course is based on a very similar technology and a very similar methodology, but it's aimed at my friends, the healers. As most of you know, I've been a doctor for many decades. I've been in the mental health field for 43 years, and I've been an actual physician for over 30 years, closer to 33 years at this point. And I've really been committed to bringing my very best foot forward and helping people get better. One way or another, my commitment has been to optimize people's lives. And as a psychiatrist, that's been the job title that I thought that I was carrying on. Now, it turns out that that job got squeezed out a little bit over time. And the way that got squeezed out was it became more of a job based on this whole notion of biological imbalances and the need to treat people with medications as a way of managing their mental health. All of this was borne out while I was in training in 1987 with the advent and then introduction of Prozac to the world. And Prozac had an impact on the world that was so large that most of us have forgotten it, or many of us weren't even born to see it. But the impact was so large because prior to that, it was thought that psychiatry was a field of communication. And that's why you might remember there were times when psychiatrist was associated with being on a couch, which actually having discussions and communicating and then connecting with each other was thought to be the healing mechanism best suited for helping people get better. This is how I grew up. I knew that under all conditions, human conversation and human connection was at the source of all healing. This is all, communication at the source of all healing was a requirement. And without communication, that wouldn't take place. Well, over time, psychiatry bought into this whole notion that there was such thing as a chemical imbalance. And if people were unsteady or didn't feel balanced or in any way uncomfortable with life, that was thought to be a disorder inside of the person rather than a proper response to the world going on around them. Of course, this is a twist of truth, and there are certainly times in space where being uncomfortable with the world around us is what's called for and doesn't make anyone sick. So the whole idea of mental illness being a conversation subject directly to a transformation was something that I hung on to over the years. And I attempted my best to stay within that during my time as a psychiatrist. So over time, what ended up happening is that this became more difficult and more difficult as psychiatry became typecast as the field to send somebody when communication didn't work. And people, and even my colleagues and the referral sources did not expect me to use communication as the source of my healing, because they had felt that they had already tried that talk therapy or communication method. And they expected me to actually bombard people with medications as a way of dealing with their concerns or their illnesses or their troubles or their sense of dismay. Now, we should know that that's not the way that really healing takes place. And in the last several years, I have altered my practice so that who I am now is the person who really just emphasizes the importance of being authentic with oneself, being really true to one's values, being instantly accessible to one's core self, and then bringing that forward so that the person that you or people that you're with or that you're communicating with are dealing with an honest version of yourself, a core person, a core version of yourself. And that's what we decided. That's what then came through for the next couple brands. Welcome to Humanity is self-explanatory and is the brand that I created several years ago aimed at that. And then came the True Voice course. The True Voice course is built on the heels of the Find Your True Voice book, which I'm very proud of. And this book shows you how to really easily and with a time-proven methodology find your core self, because you can't be wealthy doing something that you just dislike. Let me say that again. You can't be wealthy doing something you dislike. Many of us have found ourselves now doing lots of things that we dislike and attempting to be wealthy, maybe by bank book numbers or some other way. But in fact, being wealthy and doing something you dislike are not compatible with each other. In order to be wealthy, you need to be living life in a way that is consistent with who you really are. And that's what this course is about. So the webinars that are being created are aimed at people who are very interested in being wealthy and actually having a life that works, and doing so by actually finding and rediscovering their true self. This particular webinar is the 5 ways to rediscover your true voice. And it's associated with the 5 methods that are noted inside of both of the courses that are associated with it. And that includes Healing the Healer, as well as Find Your True Voice. So that's what I've done. Is this webinar is a place where we get to meet, you get to meet with me, and we get to discuss the really not so long pathway between where you are now and then coming to grips with who you really are, and then delivering that person who you really are to the world that is eagerly waiting to receive it, and then living a life actually consistent with that person who you really are. So that's the point of this course, and that's the point of the webinar. I am super excited to be delivering this webinar to you, and it's my opportunity to really step into my true self. Is something that I've been able to do over the last several years, is to become much more authentic with who I really am. And as a result, I've become a healer even more so than a doctor. I invite you to join us in this upcoming webinar, the 5 ways to rediscover your true voice. And we'll go over ways that you might never have thought of to come in touch with that person who otherwise has been muted and muffled and stifled over the last several months and years. This course has been generally aimed at healers, meaning people who would label themselves as healers one way or another. That may and probably does include you, because after all, we're all healers. But if you're an alternative healer or a nurse or a social worker or a counselor of some sort, or a Reiki worker, or an acupuncturist, or in some way an alternative healer, along with being either a doctor or a nurse or a psychologist, this course is for you. It's a great space to find yourself and find your true voice, and then heal the healer within you, so that you can go back to actually having the job that you thought you were taking when you started this profession many years ago. It's an honor to bring you this webinar. I'm hoping that you enjoy it and that we'll see you at the next episode of it. I'll be there in person and be available for any questions. And we have several special gifts to offer you as well when you sign up to be in this course. Several other ways that really work to support and then buttress up everything it takes for you to get in touch with that true self of yours and bring that piece forward. Times are difficult and challenging, and many of us have found a reason to stay quiet when we know we had more to say. And many of us have found reasons to say things that even we disagree with. This, of course, is unacceptable in a short life. And so our goal is to help you stop doing that, rediscover your true voice, come to grips with it, and then deliver it effectively into the world, a world that is eagerly ready and to receive it. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. I'll be there in person, and I hope to see you there with bells on. It's time to get your life moving forward. Time to heal the healer within you. It's time to actually bring forth your true voice. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the webinar. Bye for now.